channel! Welcome back to week 3. I think I said week 3 last time, but it's week 2. Welcome to week 3. So this week we have, well, I've got a load of papers and documents to show first of all. So the first thing is we had a great lesson this week. Sadly we didn't have Stevie. But we've also got brand new headshots this week, and I was really happy because I didn't like my old headshots. I really didn't like my old headshots. So one thing we've also done this week is got our brand new headshots done. Also another thing is we've practiced more numbers, and also we've spoken about the singing numbers that we are all individually doing. So the first thing we've got is our preparing for progression. And this thing, I find it really helpful. And the reasons being, it's basically to prepare us through the process of things like research and dialogue and reflections. And this is really helpful. So the first thing is my career goals. So my career goals, I don't really know anymore. Like, one minute I want to perform on stage, the next minute I want to do a film, the next minute I want to do stand-up, the next minute I want to be a TV host, like I want to be the new Siri. Like, I've got an overwhelming load of ideas and things I want to do. So to me, career pathways is just a never-ending process. You know, I want to work in holiday camps and stuff like that, but I want to be a blue coat at Pontins, a red coat at Butlins. Like, I haven't got any limits when it comes to careers. Where do I currently sit this week in terms of singing, acting and dancing? Right, so in terms of singing, I feel like my voice is getting more powerful. I think where I've been practicing my voice a lot more, it's definitely getting a lot more powerful. I think where it's other things like where I know what my singing number is that I'm doing for musical theatre, I feel like that is getting me even more excited and more motivated to practice my voice even more. So I feel like it's just, at the moment, it's at a very good level. I'm not the best singer in the world, far from it, but I'm enjoying it. That's the main thing to me. I'm enjoying it, and that gives me more motivation to practice it. As far as dancing, I feel like where I've been really stressed out this week, I haven't had the most motivation. You know, I can always put on a happy face, but really deep down inside, I'm not happy. So it's been quite tough this week, and the patterns, I was struggling with the patterns this week, so that is a weakness. In tap, I was struggling with the patterns, and it was stressing me out, and it really does stress me out sometimes, and that is the hardest thing about it. But when I'm stressed out, it only lasts for a few seconds, and then it goes away, and then I can come back in, and I can practice it again, and I'll master it. That's a strength. See, now, when it comes to strengths of acting, I wouldn't actually know because we haven't done much acting. In fact, we haven't done any acting, to be honest, but the only acting I would have to say about is purely and simply the acting of my musical number. I feel like I fit the character really, really well. I know how it goes, you know. I know that this time next year, I will be a millionaire. You know what I mean? It's like, I know I've got my power. My power for my character that I'm portraying, Del Boy, is already there. So I feel that my acting is extremely strong right now. But I feel like when it comes to actual doing scripts and stuff, when I start doing my monologues, which I'll talk about in a minute, I will justify how strong my acting would be. But where I've seen my new monologue, I'm like, you know what? I could play this off very well. The next thing is, okay, that's that. That's that for that piece of paper. So I just wanted to get that over and covered with. So that's basically it, really, for the strengths and weaknesses this week of singing, acting and dancing. Like, that's the strengths and weaknesses. It's like, one moment I am feeling good, the next moment I'm feeling it tough, but then I try and make it a strength. You know, like, I still feel really like unmotivated just because of lockdown energy, but I'm motivated at the same time. I think it's also because where it's been a tough few weeks and I've lost so much, I feel like that does drag me down a bit more. So, next thing covering, we got this script to annotate or analyse, and it's the Romeo and Juliet script. And basically with this, it's almost like it's supposed to help us translate the language of Shakespearean times, which Leanne did recommend a website. Where is that website? Because I think I partially remember it, but I don't at the same time. I wrote it down in my sexy notebook. It's called No Fear Shakespeare. So I'm definitely going to be checking in that No Fear Shakespeare, because I know for a fact that will really, really help me. Because I'm not going to lie to you, I don't understand Shakespeare one bit. The fact that I hear people talking like that, and it's like of how I talk, you know, Wap Camp and Cockney, you know, like it's completely different. So having to, it's literally like learning a brand new language. Like, even though it's the same, like it's English, it doesn't sound English. Like, it's just the hardest thing. So that is actually a weakness, is understanding Shakespeare. But the strength is that I've got this to learn and teach me how to understand it, and also to understand my character, because when I can unclose it, I can see my character's emotions, I can see how he feels, and that is why I'm also going to create little character profiles. For example, my musical number, and also going to create a character profile for Nick, who I'm playing in the monologue. We had Leanne's lesson this week, which we did a lot of facts and cues for, and it was actually the 9 golden rules. So the 9 golden rules of a monologue is that, number 1, you have to be entertaining, you have to be lively, you have to include emotion, and you have to be very engaging. Like, you've got to engage with your audience. And the one thing that I learned also last year as well is that you only have not 1, not 2, not 3, no, not 5, but 3 seconds to make your performance look cute enough. Like, you literally, the first 3 seconds justifies your audition. How you walk in, your entrance, your gait, your posture, your emotion, your fix, your character, your blend really does show the strength you have to carry out that audition or that performance. And that first 3 seconds, how you walk in, like with Del Boy, I'm not going to walk in up and slump in. We're like, you're right, ladies and gentlemen, you know, I'll be like in the character straight away. Like, I'm in character like hours before the show, but when I walk on that stage of all those lights and all those people watching me, I'm like, right, suck it in, Buttercup, Daddy's here to perform. And I automatically just go, and I'm in my character. That's how I do it. I'm in my element. Usually what I do is I just say, like, for instance, Del Boy's like, Kushti, 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 wake up my eyes, and I'm in character. How's it going? Rodney Mioma. You know, I'm in my character. So engaging with your audience and whoever's watching you, and also the person you're auditioning for and the role you're auditioning for, you've got to engage. But not only with them, but you've got to engage with the character. The character you are trying to play off, you have to engage with that character. It's also got to fit you like a glove. You know, I know for a fact that I couldn't do the role of Romeo. I couldn't. You know, I don't feel like I possibly can. I wouldn't. Wow. That was strong. Oh my god. Excuse me. Like, I know I couldn't do the role of Romeo, but if there was a musical for the Gruffalo, I could. My height, my size justifies it. It's like I couldn't play the role of Martin Luther King. I couldn't take that role on because, 1, I'm not black. 2, I believe that there is a limit, and this is what we was also talking about in Carly's lesson a couple of weeks ago. Do we feel there's a limit? Yes. In my eyes, a white person can't play Rosa Parks. In my eyes, a black person cannot play Freddie Mercury. In my eyes, you know, I mean, a black and white person, if there's one role that a black and white person can do, it's play Michael Jackson. Let's be honest, like, if there's one role they definitely can do, it's play Michael Jackson. But I'm a person that believes that you can play gender neutral characters. Like, I like in our lesson, Leanne said, Lewis can totally rule off Queen Margaret, like, you know, and I was like, damn right, girl, I can play, you know what I mean, I can do it, you know. But I feel like when you've got a character that has so much meaning, and it's like, what did Rosa Parks and Martin Luther King, Malcolm X, what did they fight for? Exactly. And it'd be a bit hypocritical and a bit sad if a white person was playing that role. Thank you. It just wouldn't work. It really wouldn't work. And I'm really happy that Leanne actually mentioned that as well, because not many people do mention things like that. But everyone was really smart enough to know that anyway. And I think if you're not smart enough to know that, you know, that there are certain characters that must stay with their widths, you know, I just think, like, You know, like to me, Santa Claus, using that as a character, I feel like anyone, any colour, any nationality could really play Santa Claus because he's a make-believe character. Sure, he's based on a real story, but you can take that. Like in one of my productions that I made, we had Daniel Macagnola, that is actually a black male, play the role of Santa, and I was like, why not? It's great, you know what I mean? Like, who's to say? And I think it really stood out because I don't see many TV shows and many films and many, like, just productions that have a black Santa. And I thought, why not? Show the equality. Anyone can play this role. You know, a woman can play Santa Claus nowadays. Like, why not? There's no justifying it. Next thing is stereo comic, and that's humour. And this is what I really did enjoy, because the one thing we struggle about nowadays is humour, and especially dark humour. You know, like, especially with contrast as well. Like, one minute you could be saying a really serious thing, and then you could end it with a comic. So I don't know. I ain't got a joke, but you know, you could be really serious about, like, I was in a car crash last week, but hey, at least I still got two of my arms. You know, like you really could like do that. You know, another thing is arc and storyline. You've got to keep this. If you have not got a storyline in your monologue, there is no point in doing it. There really is. It's all about the plot, the character, the storyline. What's the point in, like, if you said, "Oh, I can't believe that just happened." Like, really, I can't believe that just happened. And for your whole monologue, like, for your whole monologue, you're explaining it, but you're not leaking out what the storyline is. You know, if you just had a really grand storyline come up, you know, you've really got to focus on that. And that also comes into another thing. The one thing you need to do when performing your monologue is you need to like understand what just happened before you started this monologue. What did your characters do? What just happened to your character? And I think that is just like one of the main strengths in performing, is that you need to know what has happened before. Like if you're doing a whole play, and like for instance in Grease, you know, we were doing Grease Lightning. What happened before Grease Lightning? You know? Where did Kenickie get the car from? You know, it's like, before the prom, what happened? You know, it's just like little things like that that you really need to think about. It's like my character Del Boy, before he went on the market stall, he would have been in the Nag's Head. You know, he would have been at the flats getting his van sorted or something like that. You know, that's where he would have been. He would have been down, what's that character's name? The one that sells the dodgy gear. Dirty Barry. He would have been with Dirty Barry, wouldn't he? Getting all his gear ready for the day. So that's what I would straight away think. Next thing is keep it short. It's better to be short and sweet than long and boring. Simples. And that is what I like about it the most. In short and sweet, you can put so much detail and efforts in. You know, you can put a well-performed, detailed 3-minute video of a production in than what you can do. Like short films, look how much detail they cover. Like in a movie that lasts like an hour or two, you're like, "So George, do you really think we can do this?" But like in a short film, it's like, whoa, bang, 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 bang. So much detail. You got music, we got fast paces, you know, we got time lapses. So much detail hits you in such little time. And that's why I feel like it's easier to do a review of a short film like Nadia, we did last year in acting, than it is to do of a whole film. Because there's just, one, there's too much to cover. Two, it's like there's so much going on. And three, when it's slow, it's just like, but it's like if you just watch the 10-minute clip, it's like, oh yeah, okay, so Nadia, he punched Barry, Barry did this, you know, it's like it also makes it more tense, it makes it more exciting, more detailed, more fun. Element of surprise, that's another thing. Avoid bad language, that's also another thing. Don't overdo it, that's one thing. If you feel that your character's overdoing it with bad language, you can tone it down a little bit. But if it's your character, don't change the character. But just remember, you can make your character your own. You can do that character how you want to do that character. And that's one of the best things about being a performer. It's not you playing that character, it's you being that character. How do you play that character? You know, you don't have to copy. How do you see that character? How do you play that role? You know what I mean? How do you become that role? See, me, I become the role. I'm a method actor. I become that role. So it's like, how do I do this? You know? It's like Will Smith and the Genie. Robin Williams did a tremendous job at the Genie. Will Smith came in, didn't take Robin Williams' side of the Genie, he made his own side of the Genie. Even with the song Friend Like Me, he did it in raps, because he's a rapper. You know, he made it his own way. Also, show you're a winner, right? Shows you're a winner. But don't have a huge actor's ego. That's the one thing we definitely spoke about. Don't be that person. Also, avoid one that has been done by Star. And avoid one that's been overdone. Another thing is, when you're finding your monologue, make sure you choose one that is known and not that someone's just randomly written of themselves. Like, John was sad. I went up to him and I said, are you okay? Like, you want to find one that's got courage and power. Like, I am the king. Like, you know, you've got to find one that really is good. Another thing is just the obvious. Research the play. You know, do your 10 character questions and stuff like that. And this, what I all just said there, is one massive, huge load of strengths. And that is how I initially do my characters, do my acting, do my performances, and do my writing and reflections. You know, it's like before this reflection was done, I automatically knew what I've got to talk about this week. We just had a whole week, and this is the idea of keeping a book on your hands or a mobile. You know, you can record what you've done, so at the end, you know what you've done, and you can put it into a whole massive video, just for you. What we're on now, 16 minutes of pure fab. So, there you go. That's basically it. To be honest, that's been this week in a heartbeat. Just practicing my number now, and that's going to be great. Also, another thing I have been given is this tremendous piece of work. So, we have been given also by Leanne this huge load of Shakespeare monologues. And personally, I quite liked Benedict, Much Ado About Nothing, of Act 2, Scene 3. I'm just going to read it as well, because everyone chose this for me as well. They thought Lewis suits this character. Benedict. Ugh. I ain't got my glasses on. This ain't a good start, is it? I can't read this without my glasses on. Where's my glasses? That's the thing now. I'm not going to bother cutting it out. Why would I cut out the truth? You know? So. Okay. Benedict is an aristocratic soldier who has recently been fighting under Don Pedro and a friend of Don Pedro and Claudio. Benedict is very witty, always making jokes and puns, la-di-do-da-da, and he carries on a merry war of wits of Beatrice. At the beginning of the play, he swears he will never fall in love or marry. And to be honest, that character, I've watched that character, and I'm telling you now, that character I can pull off in a heartbeat. And it wasn't just that one as well. There was another one, and it was Ferdinand. Now, some of this doesn't suit me, but it suits characters that I can play. A little bit of myself I can probably put in here as well. So it's Ferdinand, Let Me See Her Face Again, Though Has Much I'll Do Well, by the Duchess of Malfi, Webster, Act 4, Scene 2. Ferdinand is a proud, arrogant man. A lot of that pride comes from his sense of superiority and an aristocrat. So I've got a large, bold pride. You know, I'm proud of everything. You know, I'm very proud. Think about the Duchess, who recognises Antonio's virtues despite his low birth and giving a new social identity as her husband. Personally, my favourite one is the Benedict one, and it's the one I'm most likely going to roll with. So that's that from that one. Also, we have also been given a monologue. So this one now is, I think it's contemporary monologue, and it's called About a Goth. Basically, I've got a character called Nick, who is gay. That easily makes it easier for me. You know, being a homosexual, there's nothing easier than having a character that has partially some of the same relatives as me. Also 17, near my age. He's in love with a boy called Greg. I'm actually not in love with a boy, but I'm in love with many boys. Quite sad. And to be honest with you, the character is quite like me. Apart from a few things where he pretends his life has been tragic, my life has been terrible. But at least I'm kind of in the same mentality as him, which makes it easier as well. He's a goth. I personally have been through a gothic phase, but I admire it. Intelligent and highly sensitive. I am not highly sensitive as much, but I do get highly sensitive and emotional, if that is a counter thing. I don't get sensitive about names and stuff like that, because hey, what comedian can be sensitive if you think about it? You know, that's the whole idea of it. Speech is very funny, so it already shows that he is a comic, and yeah, it's just like this character. I haven't looked into this as much as more, so obviously I'll talk more about this next week. But we've been giving a decent load of information and just stuff to do and think about, and a lot of tasks to do as well. So now I'm settled. Thank you very much for watching this reflection. Take care, love you lots, and goodbye.